Welcome to the Sky Blue Times YouTube channel. Today we're going to be looking at Savinho, what went well for him in his first season, what he needs to improve on next season when it comes to increasing his goal output and everything else in and around his game. We saw a lot of frustrating moments from him, I think a lot of positives. I think we saw an attitude, a work rate, a fitness and desire throughout the season that was very encouraging. But yeah, there's plenty to work on, I'm sure, and we'll get onto it in this video, just like we did with the video on Jeremy Doku, pointing out all these aspects to their games. Two very exciting, two very talented players, two wingers, but both of these players have stuff they can work on, and today we're going to be looking at Savinho. So if we just move on now to two quotes that I pulled from Pep Guardiola from last season, the first one being after the Wolves away game in 2024, the second one at the bottom after the West Ham game at home in January, where Savinho, I believe he picked up a goal and 2 assists in that match. If we just look at this first one, where Pep Guardiola is talking about Savinho coming to Manchester City with that feeling of, I'm here to become a top player, and that is the quality you see in the very best. He's arriving knowing that this is a very good opportunity for him to reach the top, to reach his potential. And you can see throughout the season, this is a player that is willing to take chances, as much as it may be frustrating the number of shots he takes and has made mistakes. That willingness to try again, to step up and take free kicks, to take corners, to not shy away from the pressure, I think will really benefit Savinho into his City career in the long term. And then when we look at this quote down the bottom, he's talking about having the left foot on the left side in that match. It was that period where we were seeing more Savinho play on the left side. But as he touched on here, Savinho's got a lot of things to improve. He's not aggressive enough without the ball. He's a little bit soft in a few departments, but right now he has something a bit special and brilliant that helps the team a lot to score. A little bit lucky with his goal, but the 2 assists were brilliant. That was the match where he did get a goal and 2 assists. One of those was crossover into the box with Haaland after I believe Phil Foden switches out to him. Goes round the full-back, and then that nice deep cross from the left side lofted in to the back post for Erling Haaland to score. Type of assist that we saw quite a bit over last season was Savinho with these kind of crosses. We also saw Mateus Nunes with the crosses from that left-hand side. So we already know that's something that Erling Haaland does thrive on. But as we'll get onto, there is a lot of ways that he assisted teammates throughout the season, and that is a real encouraging thing to see. Now, this was a graphic I did earlier today, just looking at under Pep Guardiola's time managing Manchester City, what were the goals and assists per 90 of the different players in those seasons. The size of the markers is the total 90s that they played, and as you can see here, as I've marked out, Erling Haaland and Aguero zone, all of these are Erling Haaland and Aguero. There's more of Haaland and Aguero in and around here. You see the 1920 Sterling season where he was scoring lots and lots of goals. I believe he has 20 in the Premier League that season, which is just it's just mad for him to be able to pull off. Jesus over here, when he first came, when he arrived from Jan and really built up a lot of momentum and was scoring goals for fun at the first part of his City career. The 2021 Gundogan season, I believe he scored 13 goals in the Premier League that season. As astonishing as a midfielder, and that built a lot of his reputation as somebody that can crash the box, arrive and score goals for a City team that didn't have a striker at the time. You've got some of the best seasons of Sterling and Mahrez when it comes to goals and assists. Sane as well over here, De Bruyne consistently over here with the number of assists he's providing, and then you've got Jeremy Doku and Savinho down here, which just goes to show, obviously they're missing the goal output that would bring them up here with the likes of Sterling and Mahrez for those seasons. But when it comes to the assist per 90, they are putting up good numbers. What they're not having in the case of Jeremy Doku is playing enough minutes, but with Savinho, when it comes to the assists, he's provided quite a few across the season, and that was a real positive for Savinho, away from the struggles when it comes to in front of goal, scoring the big chances that he did have. And this is just some underlying numbers compared from Girona on this side over here in red over to his first season at Manchester City. You can see the difference in the numbers going up per 90s with the passes into the penalty area, key passes going up, expected assists slightly increasing, shot creating actions increasing per 90, staying the same with his goal creating actions, and that is what kind of made him stand out in that first season at Girona was that he was really decisive in front of goal, creatively as well as he was scoring goals himself that season. Successful take-ons, 3.15 down to 2.65, so he's not taking on his man as much, and probably a decent amount of that is due to the fact that he's playing more minutes on the right side than the left side, whereas when he was at Girona, they were playing him on the left, and they were trying to isolate him as much as possible to get him into lots of 1v1 situations. So obviously that's why you see the numbers that you do have there for Savinho, and then carries into the penalty area has gone up as well. A lot of these will be built on the fact that he's just going to see a lot more of the ball across that season. And here are an example of 4 goals that we saw from Savinho. So crosses that I'm talking about. This one against West Ham, this one against Leicester, those deep crosses from the left side to Erling Haaland to attack the back post. This through ball coming inside, playing through to Erling Haaland, this cutback for Omar Marmoush. And throughout the season, there was a number of different types of assists, and this would be a real strength of him, not only to deliver those kind of numbers when it comes to assists. Obviously, they can go up a bit more, and that'd be great to see, but to still put up this tally that's last season was really, really encouraging, especially knowing that there is a variety to his game. This wasn't a player that was just racking up 8 assists from crosses from exactly the same spot. There's a lot of different goals that he's able to assist and be involved in, and it wasn't just, from my point of view, a player that was involved in the final action. This was a player that was involved deeper. So if we go back to the match against Nottingham Forest in the FA Cup semi-final, we saw these rotations with Bernardo Silva and Kovacic doing really, really well in the deeper areas. But you also saw Savinho notice when there is space deep that he's able to drop into. Intelligent player, as you can see here, spots the space, drops into, receives the ball, drives into the space here, plays that 1-2 pass to get himself back into more space over on this side as he plays through Nottingham Forest. Now, once he's got into that space, spots Mateo Kovacic and lays off that pass. He's not trying to do too much. So, intelligent enough to recognise the space, able to combine with his teammates inside from deep areas, essentially to find himself into more space, but then knows the right time to move on in those situations, at least for the most part that we saw across the season. And before we get to these stats, I'll just go back to this point here when it comes to Savinho involved deeper. If you think about the match against Juventus for the first goal that Erling Haaland scored, that was an example of Savinho involved deeper, dropping deep in the build-up, with Mateus Nunes coming around, Reiner's coming into the middle, and then he's involved in the build-up to that goal, not directly involved in the final pass. You think about both goals he's involved in against Arsenal, the home match. Again, drops deep inside, moving inside with the ball, drags a fullback with him, and then plays that through pass to Erling Haaland. That's again involvement of him deeper and more centrally. And then even when it comes to in and around the box in the away match against Arsenal, finding an attacking space into the box before his eventual assist over to Erling Haaland to score. So yeah, it's not just the final pass. There's a lot of other actions that Savinho is involved in, whether it is in deeper areas in the build-up, whether it is moving inside and dragging his fullback around. Really intelligent with his movement, agile, good first touch. So yeah, really encouraging signs to see that from Savinho across the season. Now, if we move to these stats, these are his shooting statistics. Just between the Girona season on the left in the red, and then on the right the first season for Manchester City in the blue. And what you'll notice is the shot volume goes up. This is a good thing for that to happen. If you don't take enough shots, you're not going to score enough goals. And when you look back at the Premier League from last season, for the top 25 players to have scored 10 or more Premier League goals, that I believe there was only there were 16 players on that list that had at least one or more shots on target per 90. So that gives you a good representation that if you're going to score a lot of goals in the Premier League, you need to take a good amount of shots. Savinho over here, 0.6 per 90 versus 1.07 per 90. So that volume has gone up. But then we're not seeing as much shots on target. So that's dropped between the two. we are seeing non-penalty XG go up, so that's something we'll get into. But to see him getting more valuable shots off, and racking up more XG across a 90 minutes is a good sign. The non-penalty XG per shot gone down, so as we'll get onto, I'll tell you a lot about him probably taking a lot more shots from positions that aren't really that favourable. And then goals drop between the Girona season over to the season with City, and that's what we'll get onto. That was a real obvious point for City fans across the season, that this is a player that has got a lot of chances, racks up the XG because he's getting into valuable positions, but then is not able to convert them. Now, this is so we'll go through Girona season first in these graphics here, looking at shot cards for different players. Absolutely worth following this account here if you want to find out more about shooting. To create these graphics yourself, then definitely go and check that out. So we'll first go through the Girona season, and as you'll notice, compared to when we did the video on Jeremy Doku, Savinho gets a lot of chances centrally in the box. Whereas with Jeremy Doku, there was a lot all the way around the outside, and we weren't getting him into the middle, and that was a big part of him not getting good chances and not getting more goals, is that he just wasn't getting himself into good positions. But when you look at Savinho at Girona, when he did score plenty of goals in La Liga with his 9 here, a lot of them come from the fact that he's getting himself into good positions in the middle of the box. Not less so coming from, because they're all from open play, so you're not really getting any chances from corners, from set pieces, and that would be something you'd want him to improve moving forward next season. As we mentioned with Jeremy Doku attacking the back post, that's going to give him valuable chances, going to get him more shots from good positions. For Savinho, he needs to follow the same suit, that he is looking at a way to get himself more involved in these situations. Mostly we're seeing him used as part of the rest defence, so unless he's going to be involved more in that, probably not going to see as much when it comes to the corners, and he's probably somebody that's going to be involved as the delivery, the taker of the corner, rather than somebody trying to get on the end of it like Jeremy Doku. So that is where you would see the difference in how you get Savinho more involved from corners, from set pieces. And then you look at this one again from Girona. This is just shot results, so you're looking at his goals. You're seeing 2 of these on post, 11 of these blocks. More of the block shots coming onto the right side than they are on the left side, whereas on the left you're seeing a lot of shots that are saved in this cluster here, and then as we go out, more and more shots that are missed. But it's these green ones here where he's getting the goals. They are all great chances, and they're all in the middle of the goal, apart from these 2 here. I believe he picked up these 2 in the same game where he's playing right wing, very much beating the man 1v1, and then going to the near post and scoring from there. You move over to this one. Shot type tells you very much. This is somebody that doesn't really use his head at all, and is always looking to use his left foot, which is why playing him on the right side, you're getting a player that is going to be cutting inside and then able to be a shooting threat, which will be baked into the fact that Guardiola wants to pay him a lot more there, and then obviously in terms of the angles, you're having somebody come inside and then take that shot at goal, rather than going down. You think if you're going to play Savinho on the left side, he's somebody that is not going to be inclined to come into his onto his right foot. So then when he is taking these shots, they're going to be on the left side, so they're going to be closer to the byline, more away from the goal, rather than if he was playing on the right side, he's cutting onto his left, he's coming into the middle of the goal, which is where we want those shots to take place. Then we look at shot quality, and one thing we noticed when we went through Jeremy Doku's shots on the video is that he was lacking high quality chances, and he was lacking the extremely high quality chances on there. And if you look at here, as I mentioned, these are where Savinho's getting his goals, so from the middle of the pitch, from the middle of the box. Doku wasn't getting those, he wasn't getting those good chances, so it's no surprise that if he's getting loads of low quality chances only, then he's not going to be converting loads and loads of them. That would just be an overperformance that very few, if any, players are able to do. Even the likes of Messi and Ronaldo are getting into great positions and getting great chances, and not just only converting super low quality chances. And as you can see here with Savinho, it's because he's getting into these good positions, he's getting these goals. So if you remove these high quality chances, he would only have 4 goals compared to the 5 that he's getting from these high quality chances in the middle of the goal, in the middle of the box, I would say. And then, just to finish up on the Girona one, this is just an overview one. 45 shots, 9 goals, 20% conversion, 2.84 XG over performance. Had 7 big chances, scored 5 of those chances. And then this is just the distance one, again sticking with his Girona season. You're seeing somebody that's getting shots, as I mentioned, time and time again, in the middle of the box, closer to the goal, rather than primarily on the outside, out wide, like we saw with Jeremy Doku. They're all about Savinho moving inside from the left side, trying to beat a man and then get himself into the box, or he's going to the byline looking to cross over to the likes of Dobbik that were crashing the box as the main striker. And that's what we saw a lot throughout that season. 3 goals, 12 to 18 metres, 3 goals, 6 to 12, 1 goal, 0 to 6. So most of his goals are coming in this distance right here. They're not that far out from the goal. Then this is just shooting angle. So apart from these 2 goals here, as I mentioned earlier, this was when he was playing right wing. For Girona, beat a couple man and then was really narrow to the near post. But again, most of these chances are coming from virtually straight on the keeper or at small angles in the middle of the box. And then when we move to Manchester City and we're looking at the chances that Savinho has missed compared to all the stuff we've just seen with Girona, they're not a lot of him right in the middle of the box, but they're really good positions still. So you think about this one against Newcastle, it's a great position to be in for that shot first time across the goal. This one against Spurs, pass comes across for him in a really good position that he does miss, so that's a really big chance. And then even with these 2 here, like he's arriving onto the ball, a lot of pace on the ball, narrower angle between the 2, but it's still a good position, it's still close to the goal. You've still got that option to curl it around the keeper, to hit it through the keeper, and then they're all coming from that position. And if you go back through the goals, through the chances that he's missed across last season, Savinho, as you can see with these images here, there are passes that are coming at him with pace that he's got to hit first time for the most part, and then he's struggling to either hit it first time through the keeper, or he's struggling to curl it around the keeper. But they're all very similar positions, and that is something that he'll have to work on over the summer period into the next season, is to be able to score from these positions, because he consistently gets into them. He's going to get great chances from them, especially with the players around, especially with the likes of Cherky looking to play more passes into the box when he plays. So Savinho has to get this position, this shooting technique, curling around the keeper from that right side. He has to get that down, and then that is his easy route to get more goals into his game if he's going to be playing predominantly on the right wing. So now we're just going to go into all the kind of graphics I mentioned with the Girona season, but we'll move it over to the City one. And obviously these big chances are in the middle of the goal. Some of them we just looked at, but all the chances that he was getting at Girona in the middle of the box, right bang in the middle, straight on at the keeper, he's getting far few of them, and he's taken a big cluster of his shots on the edge of the box, cutting inside, just coming inside the box here, big cluster here, that he's not able to score from. But he's not getting all these shots in the middle of the box that we saw from last season with Girona. Then if we look at the distance again, as exactly what I've just shown you, he's not getting loads of shots inside the middle of the box. He is getting these really big chances here that are close, and he has to do better with those, quite frankly. But apart from this cluster here, you're looking at a player that taking a lot of shots out from a distance and not from the middle of the box. This is just quality. So as I mentioned with the Girona season, Savinho does get really high quality chances still, and that is this cluster here. But compared to last season, he's not taking those chances. He's really underperformed, not converting them, and that is that's something he's got to work on. As I mentioned, you can't get high quality chances close to goal like that and not put them away. It would it'd be understandable if he wasn't getting any of these chances here and he just had these clusters coming in on the right side, from the right side, cutting onto his left, and you go, okay, this is a player that is cutting in at the wrong time, that's getting a lot of blocked shots. But when you're looking at these chances here, when they do fall to you, you have to take them. And then this is just shot results analysis. As you can see, a lot of shots saved, a lot of shot blocked. If we're looking at these kind of clusters here, a lot of these shots are blocked as he's coming inside. So he's getting these blocked by a defender as he's coming in, or they're going to be quite easy for a goalkeeper to see, track and save. This big cluster that we mentioned here, two miss, that's really poor to miss the goal from those positions. And then the fact that the keeper's able to save all of these as well tells you a lot about his shots in those positions. He's either really fluffing it, or he's making it far too easy for the goalkeeper to save those from that position. And then, as you saw with the Girona shot analysis, this is a player that predominantly will use his left foot. As you can see, you've got this shot with his right foot here, a couple over here with his right foot, a couple in the middle with his right foot, one with his head here. But as I said, predominantly he's using his left foot, and I don't think that's going to change significantly with Savinho. I think we'll see a player that can take better chances to get continue to get into better positions in the middle of the box. But he's not a player that I'd expect to suddenly start using his right foot, to start using his head more as well. It's more about being efficient with the chances that he does get, and a lot of his game is built around the fact that he is really agile, he is technical, he is intelligent with his movement in the build-up. But in terms of being a shooter, it's predominantly about him with his left foot being a lot better converting these chances that he is getting. And then if we look at this one, situation analysis, as I mentioned at the start, comparing him to Jeremy Doku, comparing to his Girona season, he's going to be mostly involved from open play when it comes to goals. If he's going to be picking up from corners, it's going to be as the taker, because he is excellent at lofting crosses in with his left foot, particularly to the back post. The way he can kind of like hang them in the air quite nicely to land. But when it comes to scoring, you're looking at somebody that might start to take free kicks in the future, but predominantly he's going to be involved from open play when it comes to scoring goals. So yeah, that will bring me to a few other things away from kind of the shooting aspect. I think when it comes to pressing, that's something that we've seen from Savinho throughout his time with Manchester City in the first season. He's very good at reading pressing triggers. He's quick across the ground. He's capable of covering two players at the same time. Does very well to curve his run. Is aggressive going forward and winning back the ball, as well as he is tracking back. Where you probably see the faults when it comes to him out of possession is he's somebody that is really good in those moments and in the first half, but then sustaining that across a full 90 minutes. We've seen quite a few times across the season that he's not able to do that as well, whether it is just recently with the Al Hilal game. I think he really struggled towards the end of that match, 70 to the 90 minute, when it comes to tracking back and the pressing that he was providing. You look at the game against Brentford where we conceded the 2 goals late to draw that game. Part of that was Savinho being really, really tired and letting players come inside too easily to cross. So sustaining that effort across 90 minutes, doing all the kind of like little details that you need to do across a match, that is something he does need to improve on. But when it comes to the start of the match, when you're talking about players that can cover two opposition defenders at the same time, they can cover a fullback, they can cover a centre back and maintain pressure on the two of them. Savinho is great at that, just like Oscar Bob, and I'm sure that'll be one of the reasons he'll be in the team. It's just if you can't sustain that for the 90 minutes compared to, say, Oscar Bob, who will do that, that's going to leave you out the team and playing less minutes. So yeah, that would be something I would love to see him make that improvement from, as well as everything that we touched on in this video about his shooting. So yeah, that's all my thoughts on Savinho going into next season. Let me know down below your thoughts on the player, where you think he needs to improve, whether you think that's realistic for next season, and all the things that stood out to you, that impressed you from Savinho that season. If you've got another player you'd like to see a video like this on, then let me know in the replies below. Otherwise, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, and we'll be back with plenty more videos over the next week.